In 2011, the government of India submitted a request to the international firearms industry for design proposals to replace their NSAS infantry rifle that was in use at the time. Colt submitted a prototype design for competition in what became known as the MCAR, or Multi-Caliber Assault Rifle Program. One thing that made Colt's submission unique is the buttstock design. While doing research into Colt's submission for the MCAR competition, I ran across an opportunity to receive one of these prototype buttstocks, and it made this reproduction of the prototype firearm possible. In this video, we're going to take a closer look at this unique buttstock design. So when looking at this unique Colt buttstock design that was a component to their prototype submission to India's MCAR program, one of the things that immediately looks familiar is the stock body here, which somewhat resembles what we commonly call the M4 waffle stock. And here's one for comparison. You'll see the combing here is very similar. That's pretty much where the similarities end with this stock design. Another thing you'll see right away is the toe of the stock back here is different, and then your locking system for the stock is different. And we'll take a look at each one of those features. So here we're looking at the left side of the buttstock assembly. And what you're seeing here, this is the button to lock and unlock the toe of the stock for it to be folded. This is a pivot pin with the locking ring there. You've got 3 pins here that are part of the buttstock locking assembly down here. This design also has a unique receiver end plate, and I'll talk about that a little bit a little later. As mentioned previously, the toe of the stock, it folds up and locks into place. Part of India's program requirements for the MCAR design was not only did the buttstock have to extend and retract, but it also had to fold. And this is how Colt met that folding stock requirement. You know, at the time, there wasn't the jointed folding stocks that we see today. Colt still had to have the functional receiver extension for the action spring and the buffer tube to function in. So it's kind of an ingenious design for the time. And now we're going to look at the bottom of the stock. So here we're looking at the bottom of the stock, and I'm having to use a couple of acrylic firearm stands to manipulate this and try to show you the features. Otherwise, it's just too clumsy to not only hold it, make sure the camera's getting your view properly, and use the buttons. So forgive me for that. So here's the bottom of the stock assembly. You see the toe of the stock is hollow here. You've got your springs and stuff exposed on the inside. I guess that could maybe potentially be a liability in a true combat environment where it's muddy or dirty. When this thing folds up, you see the locking lever and everything is covered up. When you push up on the locking lever there, you pull it back. You see here, this buttstock design has horizontal locking spaces instead of the round locking spaces that we're used to seeing with the traditional carbine buttstock. Matter of fact, I'll take this off and you'll see that this is a standard length, carbine buffer. It's just a different buttstock design. So that's the bottom of the stock. Let me get this thing turned around. We'll take a look at the left side. So here on the right side of the buttstock, there's no significant feature difference from the left side. You'll see the Colt logo down here on the toe of the buttstock. You see the other side of the pivot pin, and then you see the recesses for the assembly pins for the locking lever. Again, it extends and retracts. Now we'll take a quick look at the unique receiver end plate on this. The MCAR design required ambidextrous controls, and as part of that, Colt designed a new receiver end plate with sling attachment points on each side. A couple of things that make this receiver end plate a little different is the shape of the recess here, where it interfaces with the lower receiver, and then the cutout on the inside of the receiver end plate where the buffer tube passes through. If I ever happen to take this apart, I'll take some photos of that for you guys, but I didn't do it for this video. So there's a quick look at the unique buttstock assembly used by Colt on their prototypes for their competition in the government of India's MCAR, or multi-caliber assault rifle competition. This video is going to go on multiple social media platforms. Where possible, I'll have a link in the description to an article I did on India's MCAR program with some detailed photos. And you'll see some more videos in the future covering Colt MCAR prototype features. See you later.